I want to change this country spectacularly in 3 years. So I don't have 10 years. I don't have 5 years. I don't have 6 months to decide whether or not and go to court. No, I don't have that time.
We cannot continue as a country and continent whereby we send our resources to be processed in other countries, which means we are importing jobs of our young people.
Why do we have to buy oil from the Middle East? We're just your neighbors here. I'm sure my nephew, when he was looking for a wife, maybe he was even crossing the river, illegally there. But to put a liter of fuel in a car, imagine it's coming from not this ocean here, from the Arabian Sea.
I assume this position of the President of the Republic of Namibia on the 21st of March this year. And as I'm not entering a field that is not already, or a path that is not already having people walking there, I found it appropriate that as I'm settling in the office, I have to visit my neighbors, South Africa included, in order to touch base and then to learn.
This country shouldn't be where it is. This country shouldn't be in debt. There's no way. It is unjustifiable. I cannot, by the life in me, understand why we are where we are. I cannot.
There is no ministry that you cannot plan to eradicate poverty in our country. Therefore, all government offices, ministries and agencies will be required to put in place programs that aimed at eradicating poverty and speed up socio-economic development.
Traore is doing them. Traore wakes up, brings them up. Following morning, he makes a pronouncement. It is law. It is policy. Action follows.
All right. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always being here. Thank you for the love, for the support. Thank you for the subscribers. Thank you for sharing my videos. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sending super thanks. And thank you for making this channel your stopover today. Okay? Now, you have to agree with me. I've said this many times. And you know there are some people, they don't see the essence of me speaking these kind of things or saying this. And I'll keep on repeating it. And I'll keep on doing it. Somebody came to the comment section and told me that I should stop monetizing Captain Ibrahim Traore. Yeah? And just to answer that person, I did not want to answer him directly. Let me answer him from here. I don't know if she's a lady or she's a gent, but let me just tell you something. Captain Traore is the icon of Africa. Many things that are happening in Africa today, it is because of Captain Ibrahim Traore. And that is why I'll keep on talking about Captain Ibrahim Traore. Because every single youth in Africa today, we are yearning for the revolution and for the change. For many years, people have not been talking about the change in Africa until the coming of Captain Ibrahim Traore. So, Captain Ibrahim Traore must be known in the whole world. Even the generation that is growing must know who Captain Ibrahim Traore is. So if it's about talking about Captain Ibrahim Traore, if it's about praising Captain Ibrahim Traore, if it's about making him known to the whole world, to every generation, that is the work that I have commissioned myself to do. So anytime you come here, expect in everything I will speak, I must embrace Traore. Because for the first time in Africa, we've been able to see a different kind of Africa where every single person, even the young generation, they are coming out to claim their destiny because of the presence of Captain Traore. Because Traore one day stood up and said, we must fight because nothing will come and get us from the comfort of our own zones. We must wake up and fight and claim for their destiny. And since that time, people have been fighting. Africa has changed. Leaders are changing. Yeah? Even some other politicians who are coming up today, they are coming with a different view of everything, with a different perspective of everything. Because when they are looking at Burkina Faso, when they are looking at how Traore is executing things, how Traore is working things out in his country, they feel like we need to do better. And they feel like, oh, so it's possible. And that is why forever, until I die, I'll talk about Traore, I'll embrace Traore, I'll praise Traore, I'll sell Traore, I'll speak about him. And everybody, even the children who are growing, even those who were born yesterday, they will come and find me here talking about him, because they must know who he really is and they must follow what Traore has been able to do all this time. So if you are tired listening about Captain Ibrahim Traore in this channel, then you better be ready to leave before it's too late. Because if you're waiting for a day when I'll not talk about him, when I'll not embrace him, then I'm sorry for you, because that's not going to happen. All right, welcome back again. Now, I have a very important news to share to you today, a news that has just perplexed me, okay? And again, I'll say it. It is because of the influence of Captain Ibrahim Traore.
Hold your breath, Africa. For a new country is emerging in the southern Africa, and it is made up of 3 countries which are now throwing the West into panic. At the heart of this seismic upheaval stands Namibia's fearless lioness, President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, a titan whose audacious leadership has set the continent ablaze with a vision of unity, sovereignty, and unapologetic defiance. Sworn in as Namibia's first female president on March 21, 2025, Nandi-Ndaitwah has wasted no time in dismantling the colonial shackles that have bound Africa for centuries. Her latest masterstroke, a revolutionary pact with Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema to allow citizens to cross their shared border using only national identity cards, has sent shockwaves rippling across Africa and beyond, striking terror into the hearts of Western powers. This is not just a policy. It is a bold declaration of African emancipation, a direct assault on the neo-colonial order that has plundered the continent's wealth for far too long. With Namibia, Zambia and Botswana forging a mineral-rich Southern African alliance, the West's worst nightmare is coming to life. A united Africa, led by a fearless woman who refuses to bow, is rising to reclaim its destiny. Nandi-Ndaitwah is not just shaking the West. She is shattering their illusions of control, and they are scrambling to extinguish the flames of her revolution. On October the 24th, 2023, during Zambia's 59th Independence Day celebrations in Windhoek, Namibia's Minister of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security, Albert Kawana, unveiled a groundbreaking initiative that will echo through the ages. Namibian and Zambian citizens will soon traverse their shared border using only national identity cards. Soon, Zambian nationals will be able to enter Namibia using just their ID cards, Kawana proclaimed. We are working to phase out the requirement for passports between our 2 countries. This is no mere administrative tweak. It is a radical reimagining of African borders, designed to liberate the masses from the oppressive, costly passport system. A relic of colonial division that has long hindered the free movement of people. This revolutionary pact builds on a similar agreement between Namibia and Botswana, which already allows citizens to cross borders with national IDs. By extending this model to Zambia, Nandi-Ndaitwah is positioning Namibia as the vanguard of regional integration within the Southern African Development Community, SADC. The national ID card, accessible to nearly every citizen, becomes a symbol of empowerment, enabling farmers, traders and families, especially the poorest among them, to move freely, trade effortlessly, and strengthen cultural ties. This initiative dismantles the artificial barriers erected by colonial powers, fostering a sense of African brotherhood that transcends borders drawn in Berlin in 1884. The economic implications are profound. The Namibia-Zambia agreement aligns with the Walvis Bay and Dollar Lubumbashi Development Corridor, a critical trade route connecting Namibia's Atlantic port to Zambia's copper-rich heartland and the Democratic Republic of Congo.
The Sahel took part and they decided to separate themselves. 3 countries: Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. For the shortest time, we've been seeing how these 3 countries have been growing massively. How these countries have been expanding in terms of infrastructure, have been advancing and prospering in terms of good economy and everything massively. Since they exit ECOWAS, and since they build their own organization that is called the Sahel and the AES, and they decided now to work things out themselves without listening and without following anybody's instructions or anybody's rules. Sahel has been the talk of the city. It has been the talk of the town. It has been the talk of the continent. It has been the talk of Europe. Sahel has shaken the world. Sahel has really heated the headlines every single day. You wake up in the morning, you find a news about the Sahel. You wake up in the morning, you find the news about the Sahel because of what it has been able to do, because of the impact it has brought to the continent of Africa. Now, talking about the impact that the Sahel has been able to bring to the continent of Africa, as we are talking right now, Zambia, Namibia, and Botswana, they are forming an alliance of 3 countries. In that, they're not forming an alliance of 3 countries to colonize anybody or to do anything, but they are forming an alliance of 3 countries to break the boundaries within themselves, the boundaries that is between them, and put a law that says people from Zambia, people from Namibia and from Botswana, they can easily trade amongst themselves. They can easily cross the borders to the other country easily. No any visa is needed, no any passport is needed, only a national ID card. By using a national ID card only, you can go through these countries. You can walk, you can go to Namibia and come back to Botswana. You can go to Zambia and come back to Botswana. You can come to Namibia and go back to Zambia. You can come to Botswana and go back to Zambia. You can go to like, they are moving around themselves, those 3 countries. It's like boundaries has been taken out within these 3 countries. There is free movement within the people of these 3 countries. They can be able to trade. They can be able to share the minerals. They can be able to share the resources. They can be able to bring the goods they have from this country, and this country brings what they have, and they can be able to share and live that way. And that is what they have been able to do. Which means a time is coming when these 3 countries are going to now work things together as one. Africa is changing. And the face of Africa today is Captain Ibrahim Traore. Traore came with an idea of 3 countries from the Sahel breaking the boundaries and coming together and begin working things out together. And we've seen it happening. Now, other countries feel like only by doing this, we can be able to do greater things. We can be able to survive. We can be able to conquer the West, because the West fears the unity. The West really fought the idea of Captain Ibrahim Traore, or the idea of the Sahel, the 3 countries from the Sahel coming together, working things together, breaking the boundaries, building their own currency and doing things as one. Because they knew if they do so, they are going to be a very strong alliance that even the West itself cannot be able to rule them. It cannot be able to manage them. And that is why they did all things possible to make sure it is not happening. But finally, it happened. And what they are looking for to do right now is to build one currency and to use one military. The same thing is going to happen to Namibia, Botswana, and Zambia if this thing that has just begun goes successful, which it will go successful. Because now, what we are seeing in these 3 countries, we have 3 leaders. The first, the president of Zambia, the president of Namibia, who is Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, the 6th female lady president in Africa. And we have the third president of Botswana, the third president who is the president of Botswana, Duma Boko. When we listen to these presidents, we can be able to see there is something distinct that can be verified from these three leaders that cannot be verified or from the rest of the leaders in Africa. Something that is a little bit common to what we are seeing from the three military leaders from the Sahel. So these three leaders are having a common gene that also the three leaders from the Sahel are having, which means there is an influence that has just come from the Sahel and affected these three South African countries, Zambia, Namibia, and Botswana, that the rest of African leaders need to follow. I want to play for you a video, a little video of Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, so that you can be able to know who she is and why has it been able for these three countries to break their boundaries and start working together as three countries but one. Then I'll play for you the video of Duma Boko. You see why he is hitting the headlines, and then the president of Zambia. Without further ado, let's take a look at Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah.
This woman is the president of a country in Africa. And I know some men are not gonna like this video. She was the first female vice president and president in her country. 2 gold medals in a row. Here is all you need to know about this Wonder Woman. This is Ndemopelila Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. There are like so many N's in her name, she's nicknamed NNN. Ndemopelila began her political career at the age of 14. She joined SWAPO's Youth League, where she opposed apartheid floggings and was imprisoned before fleeing into exile, fighting for independence. She studied in Zambia, Tanzania, and the UK, earning diplomas in the public administration and diplomatic studies. She served as Minister of Women's Affairs, Environment and Tourism, then Deputy Prime Minister. In February 2024, following the death of the former Namibian president, she became Namibia's first female vice president, officially sworn in on March 4, 2024. Then in November 2024, she won the presidential election and was sworn in on Namibia's 35th Independence Day. In her first State of the Nation, she declared that tertiary education will be free for all Namibians by 2026, aiming to empower Namibia's youth population. She reduced the number of government ministries from 21 to 14 to save money and make things work faster and better. She appointed Lucia Witbooi as a vice president, meaning Namibia now has both a female president and a female VP. She pledged to create 500,000 jobs in 5 years through investment in agriculture, fishing, creative industries, digital technology, and critical minerals. She has a bold agenda for education, job, and unity.
We cannot continue as a country and continent whereby we send our resources to be processed in other countries, which means we are importing jobs of our young people. Both of our countries are producers of uranium. Namibia in particular, we are third uranium producers in the world. And there's no reason why we cannot talk about nuclear energy. If other countries in the world are using it, why can't we use it? If other continents have done it, why Africa cannot do so? I'm pleased to announce that from the next academic year, commencing 2026, tertiary education will become 100% subsidized by the government. That means no registration fees and no tuition fees. At all public universities
and technical and vocational education center.
This is the female Ibrahim Traore, and she's not here to play games. Namibia's new president, Netumbo Nandinwa, just dropped a to-do list that sounds like a superhero origin story. 7 stadiums, each one for 30,000 people. Because one Beyonce concert? Nah, let's have 7. 5,000 brand new homes in Windhoek, handed out like Oprah gifts. You get a house, you get a house, you all get houses. And if you're a student, university and technical school free. And that mountain of debt? Poof, canceled. Somebody check the script. Because President Nandinwa just turned Namibia into the plot of a Marvel movie. And she's just getting started.
Number 1, agriculture. All 9 green schemes under the Ministry of Agriculture, Fishery, Water and Land Reform, covering a total of 5,600 hectares of irrigable land, remains operational. As for this reporting period, and I want Namibians please to listen, you can go and see yourself. As of this reporting period, 3,403 hectares are actively under cultivation. With harvesting currently underway, the aim is food security. By June 2025, the green scheme produced 9,947 tons of maize, 300 tons of potatoes, and 39 tons of sunflower. The identification of suitable land for the establishment of super farmers has commenced, as well as the selection of appropriate strategic partners to drive this initiative.
There is no ministry that you cannot plan to eradicate poverty in our country. Therefore, all government offices, ministries, and agencies will be required to put in place programs that aimed at eradicating poverty and speed up socio-economic development.
Right. That was the president of Namibia, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. You've seen his mind. You've seen his missions. You've seen you've seen her mind. You've seen her missions. You've seen her achievements since she became the president of Namibia. Take a look at the president of Botswana.
And I see people making uncanny comparisons with Paul Kagame, my good friend Ibrahim Traore. And I say, some of these folks are operating in a slightly different environment, where their word is obeyed instantly, without question. It's a different environment. You say, this guy is not doing things. Traore is doing them. Traore wakes up, dreams them up. Following morning, he makes a pronouncement. It is law. It is policy. Action follows. And I wake up and I say stuff, they look at me and say, what is this man talking about? We need to take it through this stage and that stage and put it to tender, float the tender. It takes 2 years, then we evaluate, then there are complaints, and there's an interdict. We wait another 4 years. By that time, you have to go and account to the people, and they remove you. Those who came before me did not fail because they didn't have ideas. They did. Maybe even better ideas. They just didn't implement them. Why? Because perhaps they failed to appreciate that the structures that are in place are not properly suited to the attainment of quick action. So you need to subvert some of these rules and processes unapologetically. And I will do it. Let me tell you here and now. I will. Within the confines of the law, and I know it. If there's anything I know, it's the law. That's all I know, really. So I will, within the law. Tell me to flight a tender, take 2 years to procure some much needed service. I'm not going to waste anybody's time with that. I'm going to take the quick route, as the crow flies, straight on to action. And I'll take fire from politicians. That's what I'm always ready for. I like it. I enjoy, I relish the fire. But I will do what is good for the people. For any industry that must drive and power this economy, we're going to do it together. This country shouldn't be where it is. This country shouldn't be in debt. There's no way. It is unjustifiable. I cannot, by the life in me, understand why we are where we are. I cannot. I refuse to embrace this unpleasant reality. I refuse. I am a persistent objector to this conventional and mundane existence. And yet we are sitting on trillions of dollars of mineral wealth. But it doesn't work. The Washington consensus is absolute nonsense. Don't come to me and tell me government must not get involved in the arena of production. No, I don't care from what school of economics you get it from, Chicago school, whatever. No, it's absolute nonsense. It doesn't work. And it will not work here. So let's try something we may even not know. Because the knowledge economy is an experimental economy. I want to change this country spectacularly in 3 years. So I don't have 10 years. I don't have 5 years. I don't have 6 months to decide whether or not and go to court. No, I don't have that time. People, yourselves, need accommodation. And if I'm going to submit myself to a process that will take me 10 years to deliver accommodation to you, then I would have failed you, and failed you spectacularly. So what do we do? We need to ensure that there's transparency, there's openness, there's accountability in each and every process that we undertake. No doubt, that is not negotiable, and that there is no corruption.
All the presidents, what they do is just to embrace Captain Ibrahim Traore. So if you're sitting there saying that we should not talk about Captain Ibrahim Traore, we should stop monetizing him, or we should not praising him so much, people are praising him because people love what he is doing. People are seeing him as the king, as the president of Africa, just like me. In fact, me, I'm dedicated to just talking about him. I'm dedicated to just praising him and saying everything that he has been able to do. Take a look at the president of Zambia.
Why do we have to buy oil from the Middle East? We're just your neighbors here. I'm sure my nephew, when he was looking for a wife, maybe he was even crossing the river, illegally there. But to put a liter of fuel in a car, imagine it's coming from not this ocean here, from the Arabian Sea. What is it that have separated us all along? So as you find oil and gas, I said to my cabinet, let's go there and be on the ground floor and talk to our colleagues so that we don't have to rely on oil and gas from such a faraway place.
The Zambian president also urged Namibia to join his country in its bid to utilize oil from Angola.
Exploring for oil and gas. But we never utilize Angolan oil. And I was in Angola 2 months ago. We don't want to miss that opportunity with you. So you have a partner in us, You have a friend in us.
Hichilema says the SADC region is endowed with minerals needed to produce electric vehicles and called on the two countries to team up.
This is the time to organize ourselves properly. This is not for Zambia and Congo. This is for us, Namibia included. We organize ourselves properly, we will then be able to transform our economies in a revolutionary way.
All these presidents, they have one mission: to claim their destiny. They have one mission: to make sure that Africa remains independent and Africa can do things by itself. To make sure that nobody is gonna sabotage or nobody is going to interfere with what they want to do as the countries of Africa. And Africa as a continent is waking up. There is an awakening that is walking around, that is moving around, and everybody needs to be aware of it. Everybody needs to take charge. Everybody needs to take control of its own resources. And a country that is going to remain behind is going to have its own problem. Traore showed us the way. Traore showed the people that it is truly possible these things can happen. It is truly possible you can live however you want. It is truly possible you can be able to build your own country, your own infrastructure without depending on the West, without depending on anybody. Those who have super minds are following what this guy has been able to do, or the way that he showed us. Dr. Arikana confirmed it. PLO Lumumba confirmed it. Many people have confirmed it. Yeah, even in our parliaments today, when people are discussing bills, they're using an example of the person who is being referred by the ECOWAS as a coup plotter, somebody who is being referred by the ECOWAS as a person who defiles democracy, but he is doing what people want. Yeah, it is his influence. Africa is changing. Things are becoming different in Africa. Things are becoming different in Africa. Sooner you will hear that South Africa has joined the three countries. Yeah, because I've seen the president of Namibia, because the president of Namibia, the first thing he did when he became the president, he went and met the president of Botswana. Okay, after meeting the president of Botswana, now Zambia has been brought in. The three countries are looking forward now to begin working together. Recently, I have seen the president of Namibia walking and talking and having conversations with the president of South Africa, who is Cyril Ramaphosa. And this implicates that there is something big, there is something that people do not know, something that people may not expect coming and rising from Africa. And before people get to know what it really is, it will have already happened, and people will wonder. Those who will be shocked will be shocked. Those who will be surprised will be surprised. And those who will be disappointed will be disappointed. Take a look at this video.
I assume this position of the President of the Republic of Namibia on the 21st of March this year. And as I'm not entering a field that is not already, or a path that is not already having people walking there, I found it appropriate that as I'm settling in the office, I have it to visit my neighbors, South Africa included, in order to touch base and then to learn. And of course, definitely history has it also, that Namibia and South Africa, we had a long history, both political, economic, and it's very important that we maintain, strengthen that cooperation, and hence my coming here. Yes, I had a very good introductory visit, and it has really paved the way. Particularly that I'm visiting President Ramaphosa when he's just preparing to assume two important responsibilities, both in the region as the incoming chair of SADC, as well as the incoming chair of G20. So it was really something that I found it was worthwhile for me to be here. And we had a very good discussion. So, President, as we agree, we'll remain in contact. Doors are open, and we'll continue to consult one another in the interests of our two people, of the two countries, the region and Africa as a whole. So that is really what has happened.
And I even bought you lunch.
Yes. And he bought me lunch. Thank you, President. Thank you. Very delicious lunch. Very delicious lunch.
As things like these are happening, as things like this, as Africa is rising, as Africa is changing, as Africa is waking up, as the leaders are also waking up, even the people and the youths and the African individuals, they've decided we are going to support our greatest leaders who are working hard to make sure that Africa is changing. And that is why you can be able to see what is happening in Ivory Coast today. People are saying no to bad leadership. People are saying no to bad governance. People are saying no to leaders who are leading them or ruling them ruthlessly. People are saying no to leaders who does not have their interests at heart, because they can be able to see other countries rising using leaders who having their interest at heart. Therefore, they are saying that they cannot allow leaders who are not really having their interests at heart to lead them. And that is what is happening in Ivory Coast today. Even the African existing generation has waken up. When you go to Ivory Coast today, you will see people who are saying no to Alassane Ouattara, because Alassane Ouattara has been able to rule them ruthlessly, taking advantage of them, leading them in a bad way, taking them for granted for many years, and they are saying no to it. Why are they saying no to it? Because they are seeing the rise of leaders like Capt. Traore, the rise of leaders like Abdurrahmane Chiani, Assimi Goita, the rise of leaders like Anatumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, leaders like Duma Boko, and many other African leaders who are working so hard to make sure that Africa becomes an independent continent where it does not need anybody to grow, or does not need anybody to move forward. Look at what is happening in Ivory Coast, because people are tired with bad leadership.
Mon papa Alassane là, il n'a qu'à laisser 4 ans mandat. Faut pas, il va écouter bouche de ses partisans qui le suivent là. Il est fatigué. De toute façon, il me plaît comme ça là. Il n'a qu'à quitter au pouvoir. Parce qu'on lutte pour nos enfants pour demain. Pour les vieux là, on ne lutte pas pour eux. On lutte pour nos enfants demain.
Il n'y a pas de distinction des partis politiques. Nous sommes un peuple. Et nous sommes venus dire oui et oui à la réinscription du président Laurent Gbagbo et du président Tidjane Capt. Et non à une forfaiture, non à un 4e mandat.
Is Africa changing or not? Is Africa rising or not? Africa is rising day in, day out. And the reason for the rise of Africa, the person who has really accelerated the rise of Africa is Captain Traore. And forever we will continue embracing him and speaking about him, because he is the same person who is really giving the West headache. They've tried so much to take him down, but nobody has been able to take him down. And in the name of God, he will never be taken down. He will never die. He will still stand to rule Africa and to make Africa a better place for everybody to live. Tell me what you think of the comment section. I'll do my best to make sure I do the comments and give a response where possible. I am Atamba Haiti. This is African Streamline. Thank you for the subscribers, for the returning subscribers. If it's your first time to be here, don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, I tell you every day, Africa is home, and anything that concerns Africa concerns me and you as black people. God bless.